Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of my Marvel Rivals character series. In this one I get into just finishing up the characters I have left to want to see in the game, and that is some just more of the Spider-Verse-esque characters. I get into 2 spider people, which I get into explaining in the video, and the rest of them are all still Rogues Gallery. So yeah, hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so welcome to part 3 of Marvel Rivals character concepts. I still don't have a good intro set up yet. One day, eventually, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so this is just basically a series where I'm going through and just talking about some characters I'd like to see in the game. And if you want the full rules and everything else, please go to my first video. And I'm sure if you do know the rules, these first 2 characters, you might yell at me a little bit like, but those characters are copycats, you can't use those. I'm going to explain with each of them. I do feel like they're different enough where you can excuse them. So let's just dive right in and go into the deep end, shall we? So, yes, he is a Spider-Man, and if you look at it strictly through a through a brief lens, you could say oh, he's way too similar. However, his abilities, at least in terms of the comics, are very different, at least in how they work, compared to Peter Parker. For instance, Miguel O'Hara, he has organic webbing, similar to Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. He doesn't need web fluid, so at least in-game, in my mind, he's able to do infinite numbers of that web shot ability that Peter does. I would also say that in-game, to make it a little bit less overpowered, it does no damage. It's just he can stick on to people, and maybe it does 1 damage or something, 5 damage, something super small and insignificant. But yeah, so that's already a first big difference. He can web swing infinitely, let's say. I don't know if that would really work in game in terms of making it fair, but again, I'm just saying how it could work. And another big difference, unlike Peter Parker, who kind of sticks to the walls just with his fingers, being however they explain in the comics, but he's able to stick to walls. Miguel has talons, and he just kind of grabs the wall. So isn't so much oh, I'm just kind of sticking here. Miguel just grabs. He's a grabber. I don't know why I'm defending this so much. I shouldn't have to, but I guess what I'm trying to say is there's enough difference there where I'm going to excuse his entry because I also love Spider-Man 2099. I'll also say, to finish up my point, so I can actually get to talking about characters, Miguel O'Hara doesn't have a spider sense. He just has a super fast reaction time. I think it's in his first comic, he moves so fast he can see his after image, and we are going to play with that a little bit in one of his abilities. But yeah, so already there's just so many subtle differences. I can rationalize in my brain why he should be in the game. So please just humor me. Again, these videos aren't meant to be taken super seriously. It's just I'm here to have fun and just throw out some ideas into the void that will probably go nowhere. Yeah, so let's just get into it. With his basic attack, it's not gonna be like Peter Parker where he punches and stuff like that. Miguel is going to slash at his enemies with his talons. It's gonna work a lot more like Wolverine's slash attacks, where it he slashes. I don't know. I don't know how else to describe this. Yeah, so for his first ability, it's gonna be Peter Parker's Get Over Here, where he can web and either bring himself to or bring enemies to him. But unlike Peter, where you just kind of go over there and you need other inputs, Miguel works a lot more like Emma Frost, where she can just slide towards people and then she slams them into the ground. Except Miguel is able to either bring people to him or go straight to them. So like Emma, who has a range dependent upon it, Miguel has to first hit his shot, either drag himself to or his enemies to him, and then he grabs them and just slams them into the ground, and they need to do like pretty much get back up animation. Again, real cool. I just love the idea of this much more brooding, and it wouldn't be so much like the Spider-Verse's version of Miguel where he's just this big like bulky guy. Miguel is more or less the frame of Peter Parker, but he's just a lot more aggressive, whereas like Spider-Man's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pull you off the map. Miguel's like, no, I'm going to slam you into the ground. So it also kind of gets rid of that thing where Spider-Man players just like pull people off the map. If you try and do that with Miguel, you and the person are going straight into the void. So there is no that like cheesy, oh, I'm gonna pull you off the map and then swing away. No, if you're gonna try and do that with Miguel, you're going down with him. So again, rule of cool. Now for his second ability, I know I'm kind of just bopping between like abilities and basics and stuff like that super fast. I've done it in my other two videos. I just want to say I'm not very professional in this. We're just kind of, we're doing this however I want. It's my channel. I can do what I want. But yeah, so for second ability, I'm taking a lot of inspiration from the game Edge of Time, which if you've seen my first video ever besides my interviews, but we're never going to talk about my interviews because those, as far as I'm concerned, don't exist. But in my favorite game, Edge of Time, mostly doing the sound of that, I know. But in that game, he's able to send like a projection of himself, and he's able to kind of get away. So it kind of works with that like after image he's able to do in the comics. So he's able to essentially dodge out of the way, but leave a version of himself right where he was. So let's say you're fighting like Iron Fist or The Thing, and they're like just getting after you and chasing you down. You can leave an after image, which they will automatically stay locked onto instead of you, and you're able to swing away or whatever you choose to do. Which then they would have to either choose to like move, stop attacking, move, and then go after you, or they'd have to stay locked onto this fake Miguel for however long the like duration he's there for. And it would kind of work like Loki's copy, where he like can leave a copy and then run away, except you can see both versions, which I don't know if that'd be like too obvious, but I also like the idea of like this fake Miguel, the like after image being like, it looks like your character except has a little bit of like distortion, and it's a little see-through, not fully, but it's like, yeah, this is definitely not him. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Now for his ultimate, Miguel gets a slow regeneration and attacks faster. Doesn't attack harder, but attacks faster, so he moves a little bit faster. And he's able to dodge projectiles. But there is a huge caveat to being able to just automatically dodge. Because let's just say, in the most ideal situation of this, you are being honed in by a Hawkeye, and he shoots at you. Without your input, Miguel just dodges it. But he can only do this to ranged attacks, so it isn't like a, oh, Iron Fist is trying to punch you and you just kind of do a Ultra Instinct, dodge out of all of his punches. No, that's not how this works. It's only strictly for ranged attacks. And here's the other huge caveat. Let's say there is a Hawkeye, Black Widow, and Storm who are locked onto you, and they all shoot at one time. But let's just also say, in like terms of theory here, Hawkeye was going to hit you, but Black Widow was off by like a little bit to the right, and Storm was off a little bit up above you or to the left or something. Miguel will dodge the first one that's going to hit, but if he moves into the way of one of those shots, he won't dodge again. So there is still a chance you will get hit, just not by the first initial shot. So if you're gonna get like headshot by a Hawkeye, you're gonna be really lucky. But it isn't like a perfect, oh, I'm just negating all damage now. No, that's not how this works. But yeah, to wrap up Miguel O'Hara, for his day one cosmetic, I really like the idea of him getting his advanced white suit that he had there in the comics until they rebooted him again. They keep rebooting 2099. Or 2099, they need some good writer on it. Anyways, I also just want to say before we fully leave Miguel O'Hara, I want him to have his original black suit, not the blue one they've been giving him, because originally he didn't have a blue suit. Fun fact for you, I'm sure everybody's heard at this point. But yeah, in the original comics, he has a black Spider-Man suit with the red emblem, because it was originally a like Day of the Dead costume. So yeah, that's cool fun facts for you guys. But yeah, that's how we're gonna I'm sorry, I'll probably edit that out. If I don't, I'm so sorry for making that throw up sound. I'm choking on my words trying to talk so fast. I'm gonna drink some water, because the reason why I'm talking so fast and like getting choked up on my words is because I'm trying not to make this video also half an hour long. It's probably gonna be at this point. Oh, that's good water. Okay. Sure, those last two things were really loud. I am so sorry. But yeah, that's Spider-Man 2099 for you guys. Like I said, you can argue as a copycat. I'm gonna say no, there's enough differences, and I'm even making his attacks very different. Our next one up is Spider-Man Miles Morales. A lot of his abilities I'm going to focus on his electrical ability, strictly because if you were to focus on like, oh, his main Spider-Man abilities, yeah, he's more or less a copy-paste of Peter Parker, but he has a lot of electrical abilities, especially in newer comics. He has a lot of new, and even games, he has a lot of new electrical abilities where I can argue you can use these to excuse his presence in the game. Now, unlike Miguel, where I gave him like unlimited web swings, Miles is going to have like the 3 max, 4 max, whatever Peter's is, since he does use web cartridges. And he is also going to have the same limit for the web shot that Peter does. Now, for his basic attack, in more recent years, Miles Morales has gotten an electrical sword. That is going to be his basic attack, where when he's running everything else, his animation is very similar to Peter Parker, his hands are up, everything else. But when he goes to attack, he summons the electrical sword and slashes at enemies. And once he's done it, like, dissipates. Again, really cool. And separating him from all his other, like, spider versions that are going to be in the game, if I were to make the game. But yeah, for his first ability, again, he is going to have something similar to Peter Parker's Get Over Here move, where he's able to swing himself to enemies or vice versa, except instead of a slash, he's going to slash at, instead of Peter Parker's like where you need another input, he's going to slash at enemies instantaneously with his sword, except it leaves them stunned for a short time, similar to Hulk's stasis attack. You know, the thing where he like roars at them and then they like stand there shocked for a little bit. It's gonna be like that, except instead of like a green effect on them, it's gonna be yellow because electricity. That was so dumb, I'm sorry. But yeah, again, I think it's cool. It also kind of changes it up compared to Peter and even if Miguel was in the game. As for her second ability, in Spider-Man Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2, the PS4 and PS5 games respectively, he winds up a punch and he gets like an electrical energy around his punch and he launches himself forward and hits people. He's able to only do this like once before he has to like the ability recharges, and you can even do the stasis thing again if you want. But I just think it's really cool of him like winding up and just charging at people and hitting them with electric punch. You can even maybe do like a knockback thing. I don't know, that could be cool. Yeah, and then for his ultimate, Miles overcharges his body with electricity, so he kind of has like electrical effect around his body. And now instead of his sword, it is more like Peter Parker's punches. However, every few seconds an electrical burst erupts from his body, only affecting those within like close proximity to him, and it does slow continuous damage, and his punches do a little bit more damage than his slashes do. Now, for his day one cosmetic, in the newer comics, when he goes to the new Ultimate Universe, I'm thinking about the suit he has when he goes into the universe. I don't know if he gets a new suit, like, while he's in that universe, but I'm just thinking of the one that he enters with, just because that one's pretty cool. You can even do the thing where, like, when he uses Ultimate, the red in his suit switches to yellow. That could be cool. You could do that. But yeah, I'm gonna take another drink of water, because my throat is dry. I was not having this many issues with my last recording, which was the second video. Wow. I'm sorry, guys. I might want to slow down. Maybe that's my issue. Okay, hold on. We're gonna sit here for a little bit. I'm gonna get another drink of water. Okay. And I'm not gonna try and rush this, because I am going to acknowledge I'm getting way too anxious about this video. Okay. We're restarted. We're good. Now, this next character we're going to talk about is this one. I'm more or less just going to get a little goofy with, have a little bit of fun with. This is 100% not going to be what it's like if he ever gets added to the game. But we're here for fun and just throwing concepts out there. So, let's get into it. His basic attack is going to be like a ranged melee, where if you're not locked into anybody, you'll go to his like maximum reach, and you'll punch his hand through a portal. He'll just punch the air. But if you're locked onto someone, in this instance, let's say it's an enemy, no matter the range, if you're locked onto someone, he'll punch through the portal and hit them. But if you're locked onto an ally, because sorry, I'm burping. But let's say you're locked onto an ally, since he's a strategist. In my ideal world, this spot would be a strategist. Okay, this is where it gets really dumb. But if you're locked onto an ally, to heal them, he reaches his hand through the portal and just kind of does a little pat on the forehead, just a little, or on the top of the head, just a little. Pats him on the head, and that heals him. Yeah, this is what we're doing. The Spot is already a pretty silly character. This is what we're doing with him. Yeah, so for his first ability, it's kind of like the game Portal, where he can make, let's just say, 2 connecting portals max. Maybe he can only do 1. You know what? I'm going to change my script here. Let's say he can make 1 complete portal. So it is like the game Portal, where he's able to do an open, like an entry portal, and an exit portal at 2 different ends of the map, or like wherever he wants, and you can jump through them. But the big caveat here is, unlike Doctor Strange's, where it can just like levitate in the air and you can see where you're going, you can't do that with his portals. His need to be on a surface, and once they are on the surface, it's just a black hole. You can't see where you're going. There is going to be a little bit of a texture difference, I would imagine, to show like, oh yeah, this one's hooked up, so you're not just like jumping into a wall, being like, oh yeah, the Spot put a portal here, and you're just up against a wall. But yeah, so you're unable to see through it, and it has to stick to a wall. That's the big 2 things. And he only has the 1. I think it's cool. I don't know what to tell you. Now for his second ability, the Spot can open a portal. This one's different. He opens a portal that produces healing energy for a limited time. So in my mind, how this would work is he would take out some sort of like potion or something, throw it into a portal, which would land on wherever he's aiming at, and the little potion would throw through the portal and just kind of have like a AoE little not sphere, but just like a circle on the ground that heals. So you have to be in the circle. You can't be like above it, anything else. It'd be something like that. Now for his ultimate, this is where we're really getting goofy. Due to the spots kind of thing where there's multiple versions of him and he kind of interacts with the multiverse, the spot shoots out all of his spots, I guess. He jumps through one, and it kind of works like Psylocke's ultimate, where she kind of just jumps around, except when he jumps around, there's multiple versions of him just shooting around. And if it's an enemy, they'll basically do the Infinity War Spider-Man thing where he just shoots through, hits the person, goes back into a portal and disappears. But if it's an ally, the upper body of the spot shoots out and they just pat him on the forehead and they leave and just back out. Again, it is so goofy and it is 100% not gonna be in the game, but I just love the idea of the spot seeing an ally oh hey, here you go, a little pat on the forehead, and then I give you a little thumbs up and I dip out. It's just so cool. I like it as a concept. And now for his day one cosmetic, I kind of want to give him that glitchy inverted version that you see at the end of Across the Spider-Verse. It doesn't have to be exactly like that, but just kind of do something similar. I think that's a cool concept for a cosmetic. This is another one that I am 100% sure will never be in the game, but it could be so much fun, is Agent Anti-Venom. I will say the Anti-Venom skin for Venom is by far my favorite skin, but I wish they left Anti-Venom to be his own thing. I would like him to be a duelist, but in the case of Agent Anti-Venom, I'm going to make him a strategist, just so that way there's more healers in the game. But yeah, this is also just kind of me being oh, the Anti-Venom skin sucked. I'm just gonna say that. I'm not a fan of the Anti-Venom skin. And this is kind of how you can make it up to me. I'm making it sound like Marvel Rivals owes me, you messed up my boy, you fixed this. No, I'm a big fan of the Anti-Venom character, and this is how you could do it. Fix him up for me. But yeah, you can give him web swinging, since he is a Spider-Man character and he has the insignia and everything. Give him web swinging, why not, and let him crawl on walls. And yeah, so for his basic attack, just give him a machine gun. Feel it fits, kind of pull a Frank Castle, just give him a gun. But he will have two basic attacks, which he can switch between. So his first basic, like I said, is a machine gun. His supporting basic is where he's able to... It's kind of like Spider-Man's web shooting, except instead of that, he shoots bits of Anti-Venom onto allies, which does a steady health regen. So it's kind of like Mantis, where she can send out one of her leaf things. It sticks to a person and regens them for a little bit, but she has to wait for them to charge back. It's like that, except Anti-Venom's able to shoot Anti-Venom on people. I don't know, I feel like that could work. Yeah, as for his first ability, he sends out a tendril, either hitting enemies for damage or attaching to ally, or just healing allies. Again, if they're hit. That's just a thing you can do. As for ability 2, he gives himself a steady health regen that lasts for about, let's say, 15 seconds. And yeah, it just reflects the fact that symbiotes can regenerate. I'd imagine it kind of works like Venom's health thing, You know what I'm talking about? Where he can give himself bonus health. Kind of like that, I'd imagine, except it's just like regenerating health. Okay. For the ultimate here, you're really gonna have to hear me out on this ultimate. In the comics, he's able to do this. Well, he did this once, so he's not able to do it, but this happened once, so I'm in my right mind. And again, I doubt he's gonna be in the game, so this doesn't matter. But his ultimate, again, stick with me here. He turns into a dragon. Yeah, this is where I'm going with this. It's gonna be like how Hulk turns into Monster Hulk, except Flash turns into a dragon. An Anti-Venom dragon. But the big difference here that I don't want to get confused is he's not able to move. He's kind of like just a stationary turret, but he's a huge dragon. That's my selling point. You have a dragon now. Who needs Fing Fang Foom when you have Agent Anti-Venom turning into a dragon? Yeah, this is what my life has become. Are you proud of me, Mom? But yeah, he's just like, he's able to heal allies via his fire breath, hurts enemies with his fire breath. Does that make sense? No. Do I care? Not at all. And as for his cosmetic, give him there was this, I think it was like Venom verse. Is that what they were trying to do? Was that in the Venom verse one? I forget. But there's these things called poison. Not the super cool what if thing, but they're these like white, kind of like spiky things that eat symbiotes and combine with them. I forget exactly. It was a weird thing in comics. Venomverse wasn't really a success. Anyways, but just kind of give them like a poison variant. You don't really change up the colors, just change up the design. I don't know. Could be cool. Like I said, he's never going to be in the game, so I can do whatever I want. We probably should have done my last video, but I'm pretty sure I gave myself a limit on characters, and Scorpion got the short end of the stick. So here he is at the end of this video. He's here. Yeah. He can also climb on walls. That's a big thing, since he can do that in the comics. You'll hear me say that a lot. I'm realizing I say that a lot in these videos. But yes, he can climb walls in the comics, so he's able to do that here. Now his basic attack, Matt Gargan, swings his tail around hitting enemies. It's a blunt damage attack, and he's just swinging it, hitting enemies. Now, for his first ability, Mac whips his tail at enemies, hitting them with its stinger, so he's essentially like poisoning them, and does a steady health depletion of poison damage. And it goes away after, let's give it like 15 seconds. I know I've given like basically nothing else in this series, timers or specific percentage since like the first video, but I don't care. Like I said, my video, I'm doing what I want right now. I'm trying to slow down and chill out. Yeah, now as for his second ability, Matt Gargan wraps his tail around an enemy and throws them away from himself. So it kinda... Is there a good comparison of it in-game? Probably not anything I can think of right now, but yeah, it's basically you can... Well, I guess it would kind of work like Mr. Fantastic's ability where he can wrap his arms around somebody and then pull them closer to him, except instead of that, it's quite literally the opposite, where he wraps his tail around somebody close to him and he just throws them away. You can throw people off the edge, throw them at enemies, whatever you want. Now for his ultimate, all of Mac's attacks now do poison damage. So instead of him just like smacking them with the blunt edge of his tail, he's able to poison them and causes affected enemies' vision to become blurry. I don't really think there's any, well, I guess kind of like cloaks, where like that's the only other visual like hindrance. But instead of this, you can still see it just kind of adds on a little bit of a color hue, and everything's kind of moving, you know, like other poison affecting games. You know what I'm trying to say. And now to wrap up this video, Scorpion's Day 1 cosmetic, again, would be a licensing nightmare. The Spider-Man PS1 skin, where he has that like blue armor and little green parts of him. I'm a big fan of that game. I used to have it as a kid. It was all scratched up. We had it for our computer. Baby me scratched it up and we had to get rid of it because it kept destroying our computer. And ever since then, I have been sad. But yeah, I think that'd just be a super cool cosmetic for Scorpion. And that brings us to an end, more or less, of this series. The next one I'll be talking about won't actually be talking about characters, but we'll be talking about like cosmetic ideas for Marvel Rivals. And that will probably be my last video talking about Marvel Rivals for a good while. So please do tell me in the comments if you've liked this video. Please like and subscribe. I probably should have said that at the end of the video of all those other recordings I've done, but yeah, I've been having a really good time, especially after my mild intermission in this video where I told myself just to calm down. So yeah, next video coming out, I don't even know because I'm pre-recording these for when I'm in college. There's my little secret. I've been recording these all within like the same week. I've just been pretty much stockpiling so that way I can push them out when I am busy. But yeah, so next video is cosmetic ideas. And yeah, see you there.